Hey everyone, this is James,
Marco,
Nabil,
and Mikey.
And welcome back to the Movie Pals podcast. This is episode 208, and today we're reviewing Paul Thomas Anderson's new film, One Battle After Another. Let's get into it.
What I'm doing here is I'm creating a closed circuit. Very important to keep your cap shunted like this so you don't accidentally detonate your charge.
Don't stop. I want you to create a show. This is an announcement on revolution. The message is clear.
I'll be seeing you very soon.
Not if I see you first.
We're bringing justice to the vigilante group known as the French 75. We are here to award Stephen Lockjaw with the Medal of Honor.
You have to understand, Willa.
Me and Mom used to run around and do some real bad shit.
One Battle After Another. It's currently sitting with a 96% Rotten Tomatoes score. Bob is a washed-up revolutionary who lives in a state of stone paranoia, surviving off of the grid with his spirited and self-reliant daughter, Willa. When his evil nemesis resurfaces and Willa goes missing, the former radical scrambles to find her as both father and daughter battle the consequences of their pasts. This film was directed and written by Paul Thomas Anderson, who, as I'm sure a lot of you know, also did Punch Drunk Love in 2002, Licorice Pizza in 2021, and Boogie Nights in 1997, just to name a few. This film was inspired by the novel Vineland by Thomas Pynchon, and was released this year in September 26th, currently in theaters. It has a budget from somewhere between $130 to $175 million, and it stars Leonardo DiCaprio as Bob Ferguson, Sean Penn as Colonel Stephen J. Lockjaw, Benicio del Toro plays Sergio San Carlos, Regina Hall is Deandra, Tiana Taylor plays Perfidia Beverly Hills, and newcomer Chase Infinity plays Willa Ferguson. So, let's talk a little bit about our first impressions on this film. I'm going to start with you, James. What was this story to you? How did you feel about the plot overall?
It's kind of hard to explain, honestly, in my opinion. Like a lot going on in this movie. But in retrospect, it's about... Oh, sorry, what?
I was going to say, did you feel like it was kind of hard to define like a genre? Was it more like action, thriller, comedy? Like,
it's like a comedy. I don't know. I wouldn't say action. There's some action in it. There's not like a lot of action.
Yeah.
It's more of like a dark comedy, I guess, in reigns of like Inherent Vice, or trying to think of other ones. Like, I guess that's his most goofiest one, honestly.
I'd say that's probably his, yeah.
It's kind of more relatable to that in a way, even though I think this is way better than Inherent Vice. But I mean, it's a father-daughter dynamic, but it's also about just showing like independence, like how people deal with things. But there's like a lot going on. I thought it was, overall, I thought it was really well acted. Expectation wise, I really liked Licorice Pizza. That's his last movie. So it seems like Paul Thomas Anderson makes either like really out there movies or just kind of like, hey, then I can make a There Will Be Blood, or the one with the sewing. What was that one again? I forgot.
Phantom Thread.
Phantom Thread, right? Or make a masterpiece like The Master, and then, or I'll just make Boogie Nights and this.
He'll do, one for mass appeal and one more for his appeal.
Yeah, but this is definitely like his biggest budget film. So it was kind of cool to see that.
Budget.
Yeah, a really big budget, surprisingly actually. But overall though, I mean, I enjoyed it. I didn't think it was. I was trying to sit with it a little longer because even getting out of the theater, I wasn't sure how I felt, honestly, because it's been really hyped up. People were like, "Oh, it's movie of the year" and everything like that. But I thought it was really highly entertaining, so I had fun. So,
yeah. How about you, Marco? What were your thoughts on the story?
I thought it was okay.
Okay.
I thought it didn't really meet my expectations in a bad way. I liked the main story of the father and daughter dynamic. I think that was probably my favorite part of the movie. I'm kind of glad it stuck more to that for the most part. But I think the overall themes of the movie and the whole revolutionary aspect of it really bothered me a lot. Like, I was like, show me a way how to get it wrong. And yeah, I don't know. It just kind of ruined the movie for me. I think Leo and Willa Ferguson, played by Chase Infinity, I think were the main two highlights of the movie. That probably like made it somewhat entertaining for me. And Benicio del Toro too.
Sure.
I really liked him too. Yeah,
Yeah.
he's
And
very very silly.
And Sean Penn's creepy performance too.
He played a
He
good
worked
villain.
well as a villain, though. I will say
It's scary how well he played as a villain.
it's great because
Yeah.
like in Licorice Pizza, he's like a super. You guys remember Licorice Pizza? He's the guy at the steakhouse, just going fucking crazy, and he's.
Oh yeah.
So that's why obviously Paul Thomas Anderson's like, let me put you in another movie.
Mikey, how about yourself? Was the story meeting your expectations, or did you feel ways about it?
I don't know. I feel like the first part, the revolutionary part, was the weakest part of it, and it kind of lingered in there a little longer than it should.
100.
But overall, the movie, it really kind of plays like how it felt to me, at least, is like how you can't escape your past. You do stuff in the past, it's going to catch up to you. It's going to come back. Also, there's a whole like generational thing, the father-daughter relationship, and she's being affected by what he did. And so it kind of plays in some of those kind of themes, and that part I liked. I liked how they kind of progressed that way, and how you kind of shows progression from like the old style of how they did things to like the new style on how they do things. So I liked the themes that it ran through, but the story overall, I don't know, like it just didn't work for me as well as I thought it would. Maybe it's just because it got hyped up, like James was saying. I thought it was good. I just didn't think it was like, it didn't blow me out of the way. So I really wanted to like watch it again or something like that. So
Yeah. Oh, I get that. I mean, I liked the revolutionary theme that they had going on. I think that we could have sat with it a bit more and gotten into a bit more depth with it. That would have been nice. But as a whole, I liked it as a backstory to where we eventually see Bob Ferguson, and
I agree,
essentially,
Nabil.
where what happens now from who he was to where he is now.
The whole revolution thing is like not important at all. You can remove it from the whole movie, and it comes down to like a father-daughter kind of.
Yeah,
dynamic.
that's where it
just
kind of
keep saying dynamic
boils
too
down
much, but-
to.
Yeah, and that's just kind of like a backdrop. I honestly, like, I agree with Marco and Mikey. They linger on that part too long, I think, though. Honestly, in the beginning, for a movie that's 2 hours and 42 minutes, it takes a bit of time to get to the meat of it all. Honestly, but
It's because it's still hanging in the background, and it's like you don't need that. Like really, like just it could have been something completely else, and then they just focus on the father and daughter relationship. That's really all they needed.
I guess it's to show like,
right?
yeah, but it's also to show like how Bob is like in 16 years past has like lost all his skills. Like he's really like a different character in the beginning.
I don't really think he lost his skills though, because even like her mom was like, "You're not very good at this." Like she's actually saying,
Well,
"Hey, you're kind of not good." Like she is.
Neither was she, really.
I think he was pretty good at what he did.
Yeah, let's talk a little bit about the plot since we're kind of going into there. Just to mention that Bob was a demolitionist. So I think they called him Rocket Man or something is his nickname. He wasn't actually out there doing much of the physical action of like. So essentially, I think the group is called like the French. So it's like loosely based off of another militia group, a terrorist group in the 60s and 70s. The kind of. I think they ended up like killing themselves by explosives.
Yeah, with explosives.
Something like that. Yeah, something like that. These guys were basically kind of leftists, and they were for pro-immigration, and they did not like the government stepping in, and they wanted some freedom. So they were basically stopping all these law enforcement and federal employees from detaining these individuals and freeing them, and kind of in indirectly violent ways, but also it looks like they did have some violent tendencies, because obviously in this film they ended up killing, at least we see on camera, somebody gets killed. And so Bob Ferguson is Leo DiCaprio's character, as well as Perfidia Beverly Hills, who's Tiana Taylor's character. They are the two people that we're following over here, and they have a relationship. But again, Bob is a demolitionist, and Tiana Taylor is kind of more upfront with the action and is getting all into the momentum of actually stopping whatever they're trying to achieve. So you guys are not a big fan of that revolutionary part, which is fine. But what I was saying earlier was like, it's more like seeing that he was a part of something. And then over the years, they kind of jump forward at 16 years later that he is just kind of zoned out of his mind, took a lot of drugs. He's like
Joaquin
in
Phoenix
hiding.
character from Inherent Vice.
Yeah, I mean, kind of. He's paranoid. He seems like some crazy kook, at least to his daughter. And then his past comes back to haunt him, and Colonel Lockjaw, Sean Penn's character, essentially tries to find him, and stuff starts happening really quickly where he needs to go in hiding and get back into that mindset of, running away from the law, but can't because he's not all there. And I mean, I think when it happened, he was high at the time, and so he had to try to get himself straight and run off without getting caught. So that, I think, is where that bridges, is that you're seeing one aspect of it, and then you see where he is now. But I do agree with you, Marco. Like, I think the way they were showing things, like Tiana Taylor's character, there wasn't a lot kind of, they hyped her up more in the trailer, and when you kind of see what they're showing, we're working with here, she's just like James is kind of saying, you could have just cut that out and we would have been fine. She didn't.
You could have started
Yeah,
at the beginning of like where they're kind of like Portland or something. I don't remember the hell they're at.
Yeah.
I don't remember.
Oregon? We're Oregon, right?
I think it's
they could
Oregon,
have they could have literally started it right there at the house.
Would have cut 42 minutes out of the movie that were
But that's
unnecessary.
not a Paul Thomas Anderson movie.
No, yeah, true. But I didn't like what it showed too, Nabil. It was just, I mean, yeah, it's, yeah. It just was, I don't know. It was handled haphazardly, and for some reason, I don't know what was the point of showing Perfidy of Beverly Hills, because I mean, I don't know if this is a spoiler or not, but she's, like you said, she's not really in the movie. Like, she just sort of just disappears, and
Most
her character is just completely like unlikable, and there's no real reason to show her. Really, it was pointless to me. I'll go on, but I'll probably say more in spoilers.
Well, I mean, she does. Yeah. She does serve a plot point that we don't want to spoil her in here. So there is a reason for her being shown. But to your point about how they were portraying things, I don't know if they showed much of anything, to be honest. So I don't know if this film, if Paul Thomas Anderson was trying to make any kind of statement. I think it was just based off of, whatever the book was and the historical aspect, that this is just a story that he built off of that history.
It's loosely based on all this stuff in the middle.
Yeah,
So
it's not
it is his own
exactly,
idea of all this work of fiction, obviously, but there's obviously some correlations to real life stuff.
Sure. Yeah.
I just think things like, I just saw something as recent this year as Andor, and then last year, I believe it was like Civil War, handled revolutions way better than this did. And it was just sort of like, watching this was just sort of like,
I think you took it too serious though, Marco.
It just out, because it was just like, what's the whole point of showing this, dude? Like, it's terrible.
You just gotta look at it like a comedy. If you look at it as a pure comedy, it's pretty funny.
Just fumbling his way through it all.
I mean, when he fell off the roof, I was dying.
That was later though. That was hilarious. That part of the movie was great. The whole Benicio del Toro part was hilarious.
Reminded me of Marco this whole time.
The old skateboarders.
Just pull out a 6-pack. Here you go. I don't think this is appropriate, but okay.
Just drinking and driving.
Won't buy a cop car. Shit.
Let me go to you. Let me go to you, Mikey, and ask you, what were your thoughts on the plot of this specifically? It didn't sound like something also wasn't working for you. Was it just a revolution aspect, or was there more?
Yeah, it was mainly the beginning part. Like, we already talked about it a little bit. Her leaving. Like, everything before that, it just felt like we were just there forever. And I feel like they could have just shown like one or two scenes, like the main scene where they kind of meet each other, where Bob and her meet. I feel like that was okay. And then they kind of just lingered on with like 3 bombings and everything like that. So it's like they just shortened that part out. I would probably be okay with it. They didn't really need it. But yeah, everything after that, I liked a lot. I think that's actually stuff to build on and everything like that. So I liked everything after they kind of split and the 16-year gap kind of closed down.
If it would have been just a botched bank robbery, that would have just been, just that alone would have been perfect. And then just, and then we're in the present, I guess.
But they're trying to show, I think the whole point is they're trying to show you just how people were back then. And then they set up a lot of the story though, too, with especially the escape part of it. And
I took it as more like they were building up this character. So Perfidia's character specifically, I think they were building her up to show that she was like absolute in her principles and this is what she wants to do. And she's fighting for the people, whatever her beliefs are. And then something happens and it doesn't go her way, and she no longer holds to those principles pretty
Not at
quickly,
all.
knowing what's going to happen. And I thought that was a bit. I get what Paul Thomas Anderson was trying to show in the sense of like when you're really faced with a situation that you can't get out of, you're going to look for yourself. But I just felt like the way he was portraying the character throughout the whole film, and then you get to this part, and it's like she quickly caved. So I was like, I don't know. I felt like that was a bit of stretch. It would have been more of a fight.
Because their revolution wasn't as strong. That's why the principles they were fighting for were not strong enough to bind them together. So she was willing to sell them out.
It's a comedy.
I'm just saying.
It's a comedy, guys.
Okay, well, let's talk about the comedy aspect. James, I'm going to go to you. What were your thoughts on Bob as a whole, as a character? Because I think he was
he's a terrible father.
He's a bad guy.
A terrible father.
Well, fucker made me look like
To say
father
the
of the
least.
year. I was patting myself on the back. I was like, good job, big guy.
He's trying his hardest, though. I mean, I get it. He's pretty much in hiding when we really catch up to him, you know? And beautifully portrayed by Leonardo DiCaprio. Doesn't have really that much of an impact on the story, if you think about it, by the way.
No, I mean, everything that he tries to do fails.
Yeah. But that's part of the Dumb and Dumber aspect of this movie. Once again, I looked at it more like this. So I was like, okay, that works. And it was highly entertaining, especially him and Benicio del Toro have a lot of good chemistry. Kind of wish we had more of that, honestly.
Great, yeah.
I
I
know why it
did film
reminded
just
me.
with Sergio to see his background and everything that we were experiencing with him and the immigrants on the street and like his little underground railroad thing that he said he had going on.
So I like how
don't
he's
know.
so
I love
to see
calm
that.
too, and
Yeah.
just kind of he kind of just joins Bob, even though he doesn't have to.
He's like, he's a revolutionary. He's like, sure,
Just
come on.
drinking.
He's like, yeah,
beers
can I get a
all the
gun?
time.
He's like, sure, we can go back to my place and get you them. I was like,
Drinking beers
Dang.
in the car, just
yeah, just drinking and
Drive-
driving,
I
busting
don't know
away
why,
to
I don't know why that
hospitals.
reminded me of the times me and James would go out to Davis, late at night. I don't know why that.
Well, you weren't drinking in James's car. He wouldn't let you.
I agree with James, though. I think that showing the constant failures of Bob, his whole life has been like one big failure, but despite that, he still goes on and he has a purpose in finding his daughter and doing it at any cost, no matter how many times he fails. I think that in itself was really cool and was shown really well.
And that does show you that he really truly does love his daughter. Like that's
Mhm.
the lengths he goes through to try to find her.
And you
Yeah,
can actually
Bob-
see the emotions too. Like he starts off being
Right.
fearful, and then he goes into protective, and he's really kind of trying to hunt people down at the at the very end of after his weed wears off.
Yeah. Very frustrating, too.
After the psychotics wear away.
Yeah.
His interaction on that phone is hilarious, by the way.
Oh yeah,
Yeah,
so
they
weird.
have a couple of scenes with him going through it, and they're some of the funnier scenes.
His
of the film.
explanation too, of trying to tell them, man, I really just fried my brain, man. I don't remember, man. He's like, can we just get past that? The guy's just like, no.
He just says
And he
he's
brings
really
up-
high.
And he's like, what time is it? He's like, and then I love later on. There's the second time or third time he calls him, and then Benicio del Toro is like, it's 8:15.
Yeah, he does. I was dying.
Yeah. I was like, oh, that's a good one.
I thought he knew the code, and then I realized, oh no, he's just telling him the time. Oh man.
Yeah, Bob is continually trying to find a way to save his daughter when his daughter's is taken away, or at least he thinks that she's kidnapped at the time. And so as he's kind of going through it, like we were mentioning over here, it's just one bad mistake after another where he should, he's trying to get his resources together, but he just can't remember anything. He can't figure out what he's supposed to be doing, and he's fumbling his way through it. And he's lucky that he did find Sergio San Carlos, Benicio del Toro's character, to help him with it. And
Because he definitely needed the help, right?
yeah, because he needed the help to get him just that little bit further. And each time, even there's a part where he does end up he thinks at least finds his daughter, and even that part he botches it up, and then he's on the hunt trying to find her again. So each step of the way, he's not doing too hot. But
One battle after another.
what?
Mhm.
That's the title of the movie. But what about Willa? So we talked a lot about Bob, but what do you think about Chase Infinity? As far as I understand, this is her first, at least, big role. I don't know if she's done anything bigger. Mikey, what are your thoughts on her character and then kind of her dynamic with her limited interaction, I guess, with Bob?
I think she did a great job. I actually didn't realize this was her first big role, so I think she kind of killed her role there. And it's really just like she just plays that person that's like surprised by everything that's happening. And she does have her own like idealistic views, and she is very strong, like headstrong with stuff. So, you kind of get that aspect of her, but she's really kind of tossed into this world that she didn't know she even existed with Bob's whole situation. So, but I like the way they kind of portrayed her character. And like you said, she doesn't have like I don't know. The movie's weird. Like there's like not really a main character. I feel like all the people you kind of talk about, like it's the movie as a whole is the character, or like all the characters combined are the main characters. So you don't really get a lot of stuff here, but the stuff you do get with this character is really good. There's just stuff we're going to talk about during spoilers, because there's some stuff to dynamic with the antagonist and stuff. I like what she did, and she really like the end of the movie it's a nice payoff with her character, I think.
She's very independent. It shows like from her parents' heritage, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Just off of what you're saying, Mikey, like looking at Willa's calmness through this all, she's a teenager, supposed to be 16, I think, or something. She's not, she obviously thinks her father is just overly paranoid, and probably from the drugs and smoking or whatever else it is, that he's just, a bit kooky. But when it actually something does actually happen, and everything that he said comes true to her, she, for the most part, is pretty calm about it and is working, is trusting and understanding that this is serious, and I gotta go and go into hiding. And there's even a scene where I think really like defines that, is that she's at the safe house location, and they're training all these ladies, and she's they have her with an assault rifle, and she's training the just shooting, and she's doing it like a pro, like it's nothing. And I'm like, no, she's cool under pressure kind of situation. And I also feel they were probably giving parallels to her mother, which I'm sure was
exactly what that scene is,
because they was trying. But at the same time, it's like you could see that she has that confidence that her father doesn't have. James, what was your thought on Sean Penn's character, Lockjaw?
A lot of people don't like Sean Penn. He's kind of a wild card, but you know what? He's awesome in this movie. He literally steals every scene. Every time you see him, he's one of those characters like he's so well done that like you hate him, right? But that's the point of his character, right? He's super over the top. He's trying to join this white supremacist club that does operations that literally pray to Santa Claus. I don't know if you caught that or not.
Yeah.
That's why they're called the Christmas Time Adventures. And they're like, pray Saint Nick, and they're like, they're throwing the Wu-Tang up. I don't know. It's weird. It just worked for me. The whole like aspect of it was just really silly once again. And he's just always trying to get recognized. I don't know if you guys realize that. Like his whole goal is like, I want to be recognized. And he feels like he's been doing all this like grunt work for all these years and not getting recognition. And he finally gets the opportunity, but then he realizes that his past as well, my God, one battle after another, is catching up to him as well. And he feels like to him that he has to take care of this problem so that he can have his, his glorious future or whatever. But Sean Penn is just, he's obviously a chain smoker. He's obviously, he's got that rappy voice. He's just like, but you know what? He seems like a guy that you probably kick it with and you'd be like, man, that's the craziest night of my life. So
he came in knowing the assignment. He knew who he was. He knew what he was doing. It's like, this is me. If I was in the military, this is me.
Yeah, you're like, he's come a long way since I Am Sam.
Not the first time he's played a military guy, and he always plays him kind of zany and weird. And he did not disappoint in this. He was creepy. He was in a way funny because of the way he acted and his little. He's always fixing his hair.
His hair
had like the weirdest haircut.
It is, dude. It's like a high top fade with like a slight mullet, or like a
the pompadour. Is that what it is?
Yeah, kind of like a pompadour, but it's almost like a skunk tail. I don't know. It's terrible.
Oh yeah, yeah.
When he combs it forward, he's going to meet the guy, and he combs the hair forward. I'm like,
it looks worse when he did that. By the way, I was like, you made it worse, dude. So
that mixed in with the way he talks and carries himself just added more to it, and it made him like an interesting, albeit hilarious character.
Yeah, I think it calls to his resolve of like wanting to, like James was saying, be recognized and saying that he's achieved something, and it goes all the way through to the ending. Even when we kind of run through what we think is kind of our last interaction with him, and we see him talking with these Christmas time adventures, he's still so focused on achieving this one thing. He doesn't really care, even if he knows better, what's going to happen to him, as long as he feels like he's won. He's achieved that thing.
True. And he's always even walking in like that stiff kind of like
right
moment. It's almost like his namesake for Lockjaw, right? Like he's just like a tight ass about everything.
Mm-hmm. And I feel like that's a good transition into the connection of him towards Bob, which is Perfidio. So I want to get some information from you here, Marco, because I know you got thoughts. So what is it that you liked or didn't like about Perfidio's character?
I liked at first that they show that she was, a strong, confident leader that, takes no stuff. She's, very about, we're going to do the mission, we're going to get it done. And she seemed like probably like the most loyal out of everyone in the French 75 group, only to find out that she broke so quickly under pressure. But I think that also showed that she wasn't, a stand-up character to begin with. I know the revolution part isn't like that big of a deal, but it kind of weakened that aspect of it, that their leader was just that willing to break. And it didn't really explain it in the sense of how, like, I don't know, real life revolutions have worked, I guess. Like there's a whole reason why she even broke in the first place and why she was that weak of a character. And it's because she was essentially, at least from what it showed me on the film, she only cared about the power that she got. She was in for it for selfish reasons. And it even showed in a weird way that her and another character that I'll mention in spoilers had an affinity for power and had a romantic connection through that. And they thrived on it. So it really was never about like her stands or positions on anything. It really was all just about like a power trip. And that's essentially why she ended up breaking as well in the end and, betray her group, so to speak. So
yeah, when she was faced to not have that or have that power taken away from her, that was basically where she decided that she needed to look to the next person that could give it back to her.
I don't even know, without spoiling stuff, I don't even, Marco, though, I saw that as a different thing, though. I didn't see that they had a real connection. I saw her just meeting up with that person to save the rest of the people at the time.
At first, yeah.
Yeah, that's how I saw it. And then, I don't know what year was that. What was it, 16 years ago? What was it?
That's what I thought at first, but that she ended up selling everyone out. Eventually,
I think it's because she got caught and they were telling her like, "Hey, you're gonna go to federal prison." That's why.
Yeah.
Well, but she even said like she was talking to Bob and she's like, "Yeah, I'm always looking out for number one." She didn't really care about anybody else.
She
was just caring for herself.
Like she was even getting mad about the baby, remember? Like she was telling like Bob that, hey, oh, he doesn't focus on me anymore, blah blah.
And in essence, that's why she failed, because she was selfish and only had self-interest.
Well, I think that's part of the movie too, right? Kind of like we were talking about with the with Lockjaw, right? He's looking for power and trying to get it anyway. She's looking for power and kind of getting it. And so it's kind of like this, both sides of the coin, right? Of this revolutionary.
Just one battle after another, Mikey.
Gosh, just keep coming back to it.
God damn.
All right. What about the other characters? We did have Regina Hall in there as Deandra. I love Regina Hall, by the way. So I think she's just not used enough in this film, to be honest.
Honestly, when the trailers first came out, I thought she was an older version of Willa.
Did you?
I swear to God, I even told Mikey, I was like, I think there's a time jump. And then when he saw her in the beginning, I said, I was way off.
She's really the only person that doesn't change, like personality wise, or she's like the solid person throughout the whole film.
Kinda to a point. I don't know if this is a spoiler or not. Well, it's kind of a spoiler, but
just hold off then.
Yeah. I kind of disagree with that statement.
That she's the wise one?
Yeah. And that she didn't change throughout the years. Because there's something that happens that...
Marco, I know where you're going. I agree with you. I know what you're talking about. Yeah, I 100% agree.
It's a spoiler.
It was like the little turn into Frodo. Keep your secrets then.
Other characters. I know we kind of been dancing around it, but Benicio del Toro's character, Sergio San Carlos, I mean, man, what a funny and like straight character that he played. And he wasn't the action star in this case, in this film, compared to the other ones, but also was, I think a scene stealer. What do you think, James, about Benicio del Toro's character?
Yeah, no, he's great. I really, like I said, I enjoyed him. He's very, he's kind of quirky a little bit in like a good way. But he has like a good heart, and I really like how he was just down with it, even though like there wasn't much to why he would even be helping. Because honestly, he's putting more of a target on his back and his organization's back. But it worked, man.
Any other characters to stand out to anyone?
No, I was just gonna say Benicio del Toro. Yeah, I agree.
Yeah.
He was a scene stealer, as James said. Every time he was on screen, and that whole segment between him and Leo was just probably the highlight of the film.
Let's talk more about Paul Thomas Anderson and his film direction. This is his 10th film. Am I right? I think it's his 10th film. Yeah, it's his 10th.
Was it?
Yes. What did we think about how? Let's just start with the looks of the film, the cinematography, the camera work. I mean, I've told James a million times, like one of my favorite like visual pieces of art is The Master by Paul Thomas Anderson.
Oh,
that
yeah.
film's just freaking beautiful. Yeah,
I always think of that the boat from the shots of the boat going to the ocean. I think like There Will Be Blood. He shoots his stuff real good, man.
Yeah, it's beautiful.
And I know, like, for instance, this movie was shot in VistaVision, which is like an unknown format. I don't know if you guys were able to see it in that way. It's not playing in a lot of areas, but even in IMAX, it was really, really shot well.
Yeah,
I do want to say that there's that one scene with the cars where they're going up and down the hills.
Oh yeah,
Mm-hmm.
That is a beautifully shot scene, and it's actually pretty long. Like it goes on,
pretty tense,
and it didn't even bother me. Like I was like, nothing's happening right now, but it's awesome.
Yeah,
like you see the car and then you don't see the car.
It's picking up the tension. It's almost like a wave. You know what I mean?
Yeah. It was really interesting the way he shot it, and it was beautiful. I liked it a lot.
Yeah, I think that's an excellent point as far as shot. It builds up tension just by obviously the score, but also just the camera work of just watching each perspective and not knowing what's going to happen at each hill. So that was a really good shot.
Did you guys like the score too?
Yeah, I think the music
made by one of the Radiohead guys made it.
Oh, really?
Mm-hmm. Oh, nice.
It worked. It worked for me. I don't. I'm always like not good on the sound, but this one actually worked out for me. I thought it was pretty good.
Yeah, me and Mikey's ears were bleeding on this one. So someone in front of us actually said at one point, kind of loud. Even I was like, yeah, it's a little loud.
So you guys saw it in IMAX, right? At Edwards.
Yeah.
That wasn't that loud.
It was pretty damn loud.
I also like the scene.
Deaf.
Yeah, maybe Mark was like, what?
I don't know if it's necessarily loud. I just think the mix that they use is not right.
I mean, I wouldn't be shocked.
But
somebody needs to go up to that projectionist and let him know. I also like that scene in the dark where they're roof jumping when Bob is trying to escape, and like how he shot those scenes. But also, obviously the scene itself is hilarious, but just the visuals of in the dark, and he's trying to follow these young kids to get their safety, and he's trying to keep up with them. Just can't keep
parkour.
Can't keep up.
Parkour.
He's like, he fell. What? He jumped on the tree and he just fell.
He just fell. He's like, he fell 40 feet. He's like, yeah, they got him. They tased him.
Yeah.
that
I
whole
can't believe he
sequence.
fell, and then the tree broke his fall, and then he still landed. I was like, oh shit.
He still hit hard though. It looked.
Oh
pretty
yeah,
good.
dude. That whole sequence I think was filmed well when the whole town is being sieged and everything, and things start to get wild. It looked really good in IMAX.
Hey, we talked a little bit about it, but I guess we can touch on any thoughts on just how the film was paced with the time jumps of going back to the early days and then then present, and we did a couple other flashbacks here and there, but for the most part it was, I think, just move forward. Do you think it threw off anything?
I didn't have an issue with the pacing. Like, for me, it worked for a movie that's 2 hours 42 minutes. Like, yes, the beginning could have been cut down, but honestly, like I said, I had a lot of fun overall. Still, it didn't bother me.
Didn't really work for me. I think again that first few 42 minutes could have been cut out of this movie.
Mm-hmm.
Could have just gone straight to the meat of it.
I mean, I had an issue with the first part. I mean, it works overall. It's not that terrible, but they definitely could have cut down some stuff in the beginning. But as soon as the time jump happens, everything's pretty much smooth sailing from there, in my opinion, at least.
Where do you think this fits in for the other film? I don't know how many. I know, James, you've probably seen them all. I think I only haven't seen this first one, Hard 8. But
I don't think I've seen Hard 8 either.
Yeah, but for all of I'm not sure if you guys have, Mikey and Mark, if you've seen all his work, but for Paul Thomas Anderson's past works, do you feel like this film fits in with his overall filmography, or do you think this is kind of more tailored? I know we kind of talked about it at the top about it being tailored more, the fact that it has a large budget, so it could be shown more as an action film. But do you think it fits in with the Paul Thomas Anderson world, or this is more of a standout?
I feel like it fits. I mean, you can tell he put a little bit more money into this one. You can see the money a little bit, but overall, it still feels like something he would do. At least in my opinion, I haven't seen all of his movies. I've only seen maybe 2 or 3. Probably, I haven't seen The Master, and you guys are talking about it. It's on my list right now. I just wrote it down, so I'll watch it. But everything else I've seen, I've liked of his. They're all a little different, at least for me, because I haven't seen them all. I mean, I saw Phantom Thread, Licorice Pizza, and a couple others maybe. But like those movies are like way different than this movie. But it still felt like it was all done by the same person. At least the vibe and everything is about the same.
Okay.
I think, yeah, it does feel like a PTA film. I've seen Punch Drunk Love, Licorice Pizza, Boogie Nights. I haven't seen The Master, but I have seen There Will Be Blood. It's in some of those movies, specifically in There Will Be Blood and Boogie Nights, I feel like this movie is almost like those where like it sort of becomes, at some point it almost becomes like a different type of movie where it's like it like, for example, this is like the revolution part, and then like the rest is like the father and daughter part. And Boogie Nights, it's like the rise and fame of Dirk Diggler, and then like the rest of the movie is like him in the ruts and stuff and trying to like make it back to himself. And There Will Be Blood too, the same, trying to accumulate, the land and everything, and then like the post of what happens after that. And this sort of feels kind of like that, though I think in the previous movies it was
father-son kind of
father-son
dynamic in that one.
I felt those handled a little bit better, though I did enjoy like the last, I wouldn't say half, but the remaining 2 hours of this movie.
Fair enough. Okay. Let's just kind of go into ratings, and we can talk a little bit about spoilers here. I'm going to start with you, Mikey. What would you rate this film out of 5 stars? And would you recommend it?
So I was originally going to go a little bit lower, but talking about the film, and then James said something early, like right in the beginning, that made me kind of change a little bit of the view. You said, look at it as a comedy. And I never really looked at this as a comedy before. I don't know why we didn't talk about it when we got out of the movie. But yeah, ever since you said that, I kind of looked back and I was like, yeah, actually.
It was 10:30 at night, Mikey. That's why.
But yeah, it's actually pretty. So I'm going to give it 3.5. I liked the movie a lot. I thought it was decent. There's a couple things I didn't like, but overall 3.5.
Fair. All right. How about you, Marco?
I would say 2.5 stars. I think, hey, give it a shot. Still watch it. I think the performances are still enjoyable, but I think a lot of it just isn't strong enough for me.
All right. How about you, James?
I probably liked it the most out of everyone. I gave it 4 stars. I thought it was very entertaining. I thought it was well acted. I thought it was shot beautifully. I see it in the biggest screen you can if you're going to go check it out. A lot of people talk about that VistaVision. I wish we had it around here. VistaVision. It's playing pretty rare, but they got like 70 millimeter showings too. But it's kind of a
just go to LA, guys. Just watch it in LA. I'm sure they got.
They got the 70 millimeters up here too, but
in San Francisco.
We didn't catch this time. So
I almost went to one, but they had too many late showings, so I ended up just watching it in town.
I gave this film also 4 stars. James, same as you. Yeah, I liked the film. I think the acting was fine, or was good. I mean, all top caliber actors here, including Jason Finity. And I like the shots. I like the plot. My only qualm is really the very ending of the film, but we're going to talk about that in spoilers, so we'll touch base on that. But overall, I think it was a pretty solid movie. So before we jump into spoilers, if you haven't seen the film, there is a few key plot points that we will spoil for you. So if you do want to see the movie, I'd skip ahead, listen to our outro, find out what we're going to be talking about next. Otherwise, stick with us as we go into spoilers and talk more about the film. Okay, so it's more of just a little quirk. It doesn't really affect my rating of the film or anything, but I just wanted to get your guys' take on it. The very ending, like the end of the film.
Wait, hold on. Should we talk about everything before that, though?
No. I just want to throw this out here real quick with Willa and Bob. Nothing more specific. Bob is learning to use a cell phone now. They're living. I didn't know that they were in the same place, but they're living in their house.
That got rated.
Again, that got rated, and he's still on a list. So it's like, why is he not paranoid?
Because it's a comedy, Nabil.
Nabil,
why does Harry and Lloyd at the end of fucking Dumb and Dumber not go in the fucking bus? Because it's funny.
Yeah, but that film is not grounded. This film is being more grounded.
You sure?
This one's a little more grounded.
I lived most of my life following that goddamn movie. You tell me it's a lie? You tell me it's a lie, Marco.
Did you go to Aspen? Yeah. Did you go to Aspen?
Did
too?
you go to Aspen?
Yeah, where the beer flows like wine? Yes, sir. I have been there.
Was John Denver full
With
of
a
shit?
Samsonite?
Yeah. Yeah. I also discovered about the fucking moon landing too during that movie. We made it, boys. We made it.
But Nabil, I 100% agree with you on that.
That's the straw that broke the camel's back, huh?
Yeah. No,
I just thought that was a weird thing.
I can't do this.
I just thought it was a weird
another
thing. That's all.
Hey,
He's like, it was 5 stars, but not 4.
On battle after I mean, a guy fell off a fucking 4-story building, but you're like,
The tree broke his fall.
Yeah.
They called it out. Hey,
try that right now, Nabil. Try that right now.
Bro, if I jumped off of 2 feet, I'd probably break an ankle.
Nabil would pull it. My dick.
the guys were parkouring on like 40-foot buildings on skateboards.
Yeah. Yeah, we're just gonna okay. Yeah, Nabil's like, how does he not know how to use a cell phone?
No, it's not. Anyways, I just thought that was funny.
Because he's a stoner, Nabil. He's zoinked out of his fucking mind.
Just saying he's not paranoid anymore. He justified everything that he was worried about. And then they're just like, okay, well, I guess it's all
Well,
fine
he's
now.
learning to be a little bit more like open with his daughter. That's the whole point.
Yeah,
you know,
yeah,
like,
yeah.
hey, I'm not going to worry about you as much. You can, handle yourself. I'm not going to be so damn, Plus your mom's
Risk averse. I mean, he doesn't know that part yet, I don't think.
Which she doesn't tell him either because she loves her dad.
Speaking of which, so Lockjaw and Willa, we find out Lockjaw is actually Willa's biological father.
And that's why he's searching her out, because he gets wind of it because, there's a chance.
Yeah.
And the society he's trying to join is like, you can't have interracial relationships. And, he fathered a half black and half white child.
To me, I feel like they would have found out maybe he had a relationship for a minute, but I don't know if they would have found out that he actually had the kid.
That's one thing. I'm like, technically, if he never made a big deal out of it, they probably would have never found this person.
Yeah, that wouldn't have been.
But then the movie wouldn't happen to Bill. See, look
Right.
at
Yeah,
look at
exactly.
now we're writing stuff. Look at now
But
we're
the
getting
movie.
nitpicky. If the bomb had gone off too, then we would have had credits 5 minutes.
I don't know. They seemed like a pretty thorough group. I figured they probably still would
Yeah, but
investigate
he
no matter
didn't
what.
even know it was his kid. Like,
Well,
why would they?
he
show up
had
on the
he
record?
had like an
He had a
inkling though
hint.
that it was
Yeah.
like he's like.
But I mean, like, they're looking at background checks. Like, they're gonna find out maybe a relationship, but they're not gonna know like that must be his bastard child. Like, I don't think that they would have. I don't know.
They might have. Marco's right. They probably would have figured it out. They're like the fucking like Masons or something, right? Like,
Yeah,
dude, they're praying to the Saint Nick.
Saint Nick, that's right.
Santa
Magic.
Claus.
They would've known.
They're a
Santa
caricature
Claus.
of supposedly like the elite, but it's like but it's also
It's a real
handled
goofy
haphazardly.
version.
Yeah.
Well, this film was like. Then wasn't he thinking about this movie way before? Like, it's not
Since, like,
technically
the
relevant
90s.
to today. Yeah.
It's like the 90s or something.
This is just one of the ones that was in the bag. He just pulled it out.
He seems like he kind of, like you said, Marco. He kind of, I mean, Nabil, he kind of does like, oh, I'll do one for you, one for me.
Yeah, I think that's kind of
I
where
can
it's
see
at
that.
there.
I mean, I can see that.
Mikey, just to ask for your thoughts, specifically on the reveal of Lockjaw and Willa, when you saw the scene of basically them finding that out. What did you think about that reveal? Do you think it was anything, I guess, a big blow your mind moment for you? Did you like how that was played out, or was like, no, that's fine. That's how it was supposed to be.
I mean, at that point, you kind of guess what's going on already. So it's not really a reveal of that, but I like the way they came about, like finding out if it is or is not his kid, because it's like and it's kind of goes off like the car scene that we were talking about. Not much happens in that whole scene. They're just having some dialogue, and there's some quiet moments where he's sitting down, but it builds like some background while you're not even doing anything. Like, it's just like you're watching a little thing kind of go down a little system, and you're like, okay, if it's a straight line, then then you're dead, and if it's not, then we'll go on our merry way. But it's just like that suspense.
He tells her, if it's a straight line, we got a problem.
Yeah.
And then when it happens, he's like, oops.
I guess we got a problem.
But the problem is her being dead, right? I mean, at least that's what I take out of it.
I mean, that's how I was thinking too.
Yeah, but he's trying to hide the fact. I mean, he won't do it himself. He's gonna
have someone else
hire a guy to bring them to a guy,
which I think is
because that guy wouldn't do it.
Yeah, because like, I don't kill kids.
Yeah,
I do like how well she kind of took that too.
Yeah,
because you guys mentioned already that she didn't really tell her dad. Like, her dad doesn't know. Bob doesn't know at the end of the movie.
Yeah,
she really just like took it and said, "I don't really care. He's my dad," kind of thing.
Yeah, she's like,
Exactly.
I already have a dad.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, it's just really cool.
Spare him the pain.
Mhm.
Yeah.
And Marco, I want you to let loose on this part. So, what do you think about Perfidia leaving everything and leaving the daughter, leaving the husband, and just going to, I don't know, Costa Rica or wherever she went?
Like the whole time I was just like, because they made such a big deal out of her at the beginning, and I was like, so she's just gone? That's it? We get no resolution on that whatsoever? And then everyone starts saying that she's dead, that I almost start to believe it because the movie's so freaking long that I'm just like, is she dead?
Nah, I knew
What?
she. They just
No, I said, no, she went to Mexico. I was like, what? No, so
Yeah.
she just bounced and you never hear from her again. And that's it. And I'm like, so we basically just could have done without that character. Like, there was really no.
I mean, you still need it for the plot. I mean,
Yeah, but they could have just kind of condensed that a little bit more. Just like a quick, maybe 10-minute beginning sequence or something, and that's it, and then she's gone.
I think the reason why they do it is just because they kind of want you to see, like, oh, in the beginning, she's shown as like a strong leader, but then by the end, it's kind of heartbreaking with what she does to the whole crew, which basically leads to all their murders, which is kind of crazy.
I just think they could have condensed it a little bit to just like a little 10, 15 minute intro.
It goes on too long, but
and I only say that just because she just completely disappears. We get nothing from that, and I guess from his artistic point of view, I guess that was the whole point. But
absent mother, I guess.
Yeah, it's still rather than the absent father, we got the absent mother, but it still kind of left me a little like, what was the whole point of her?
I think it's also like everyone dealing with their past, and then like she does try to ask for forgiveness at the end through the letter. I guess is kind of her like overall arcing point. Like, hey, I realize like I know this never going to be perfect, but maybe one day, like I know you'll find me because blah blah.
She like, I'm sorry I snitched. I guess I wasn't that much of a revolutionary, but whatever.
Basically,
and also circling back to her having a power trip there when her and Lockjaw are at the beginning and she's telling him to get aroused. She tells him a comment that's like, you get off on power, like that's your thing. And it's almost like she's having that connection with him, even though like their conception of Willow was probably still he had the upper hand on that. They still had that connection and where they were connected through power. At least that's what I got out of it. And for that, I think like maybe that's why she was kind of tossed out from the movie, and he just got rid of her at the end and sent her to Mexico because she was essentially like a bad influence for her daughter, even though she did try to ask for forgiveness in the end. But that's just what I got out of it. Circling back to Deandra, she rats them out. Like,
yeah, she does. Yeah,
she does. She does.
Yeah, so she's not. I don't
That's
see
what I'm
her
saying
as
too. That's why I agree with you, Marco. I was like,
okay.
No, like she like didn't change. Deandra didn't change, or she does change because she becomes the person that she hates. Because they all talk real bad shit about Perfidia, right? And then like,
I'll give PTA this much credit is he does show that really like I know it's a comedy, but he's taken stuff from like historical context and stuff. Like in revolutions that have failed, it's because their whole mantra, their whole thing wasn't as strong. It wasn't based off material conditions. It was based more off of cultural and identity politics and power struggles and or at least aims for power for selflessness, and that's why their thing failed. And I like that he did show that at least, and it's proof because you have too many people trying to rat each other out once they're pinched. So I did like that in the movie.
Yeah, I can see that.
Yeah, I agree. I think that's probably the I like you said, the kind of the linchpin of it all is that when you're faced with the obstacle of yourself or the greater sacrificing yourself for the greater good, everybody here except for Bob and Willa and I guess Sergio,
because they actually saw that it with connections through like their connections were stronger. That's why. They didn't have that strong connections with everyone else, and that's why I feel like Perfidia was more about achieving power and fame rather than what they actually stood for.
Or maybe she's just like one of those people that just gets caught up. She only wants to do like stick to the one thing and she can't like It's almost like because like Bob is like, hey, we don't have to do this stuff anymore after they have their daughter. You know.
Yeah,
it's like
he
she
was trying to
can't.
give it up.
She can't change really, so she has to like bring everyone else down with her. Almost. I bet there's something a little deeper in there. That's what I'm getting at.
Yeah.
So, kind of moving on just to the more of the ending part of this film, especially we talked a little bit about the driving shot where they're going up and down the hill. So it's all leading up to essentially Perfidia is trying to escape, but even this is actually before that, right? Where Lockjaw is
he's driving
off.
away after he drops off.
After he drops off Perfidia.
Not Perfidia. You're mixing that up. Willa.
I'm sorry, Willa. I apologize.
No problem.
And he's getting chased by one of the members of the Christmas Time Adventure Club.
Massacre people? I don't know.
Yeah.
He goes Terminator 2 on him. He pulls out the shotty.
Pulls out the shotgun right to the face, flips the car, and Bob shows up out of nowhere and finds him, and is like, I think he's dead, but can't find his daughter. What did you guys think about that shot? Like just that scene in itself about how the chase went for the first part going after Lockjaw.
It's kind of sudden. I mean, I didn't expect it. I yelled out loud in the theater. Mikey knows.
Did you?
Yeah, I didn't think it was going to happen. I was like, whoa, shit. And like he got shot and he just goes flying. I was like, God dang. Thought that was it for him.
It also helped build the tension for Bob to see the crash.
Yeah.
Right? So he thinks his daughter's in the car and she ends up not
but then
being
he
there,
realizes she's not when he looks down because
Right,
he's like,
yeah.
oh, okay, she's not there,
Yeah,
And
and
then-
I agree. I think it does help add tension to the movie. It's there's this outside force now out there that they got to watch out for. In a blue Mustang, and like Mikey said, the car chases that happened after that were shot really well.
Going into that last scene, this is where Willa is essentially trying to escape after Quietfoot or wherever.
Yeah, running water. I don't remember his name.
Essentially saves her, and she's being chased, and then also at the same time Bob is falling behind and trying to catch up to them all
Because the assassin notices the car because he knows that bounty hunter. So I don't even know if he technically was going to take him out, but he knew all about that. That's what the bounty hunter drove. So that's why he's starting to follow her.
Yeah. I was trying to figure out. I thought he might have just noticed her.
Nah, he's the one that brings it up when they have the little meeting. He's he's half Comanche or something, but he's a good guy, because he's worked with him before.
But he doesn't trust him.
He's not American. He's not. He's not a brother.
They can't leave any loose ends either.
True, and he knows about the stuff, so he's probably like, I'm going to take him out. But then Willow just pulls a nice one because there's just like these dead zones where you can't see anybody,
That was beautiful. I love that she did that. That was really smart, and it just showed like how more tactful she was in her parents. Like she just parks it right a little bit ahead, and he just
pulls on, dude.
Oh shit!
Yeah, he's like, pull to Mikey.
Oh, that was really smart.
And then she says the code to him too, and he's just like, I have no idea what that means. I was like, that's it. I was like, that's it. Done. Not a good look. I was like, you're dead, bro.
I thought she was gonna shoot him.
I mean, she almost did it to her dad, right?
Yeah.
When Bob finally does show
Oh,
up.
sorry. Yeah, that's what I was talking about. When Bob comes, I was dying that he didn't know the code either, and I thought she was gonna shoot him.
He's like, it's me.
Is it just because she's like been so traumatized by the whole event?
I think it's the trauma. Yeah. Do you guys? So James was saying that I wasn't looking forward to a happy ending for this film. But did you like the happy ending and how things turned out for Bob and Willa, except for the fact that Bob is no longer paranoid apparently, and he can just live back at his home, and the police or federal police are never going to look for him again. Like it's fine.
I mean, he's a stoner. He's still smoking weed. Then I mean, he's probably not too concerned, but I wouldn't be too comfortable, honestly.
Yeah. I mean, I know it's a dark comedy, but I mean,
yeah, it's a comedy.
When you claim to be a revolutionary cell, you're basically have committed treason against the current government. So it's like they're not going to stop.
And they know who you are now.
Yeah, they're not going to stop coming after you.
I feel like they've always known he was there, though. It sounds honestly, if you look at the movie, everyone's just really dumb. Like,
yeah,
it's not a really good group. Like, they get caught up so easily. The government's fully aware of that. He's like, yeah, he's living out in this town. Like, oh shit, they already knew he was there. Like, they just didn't care. Like, yeah.
Well, they captured that one guy that told him that, though.
Oh, that's true. The guy that also was just blatantly doing a radio podcast show from his house. Like, Oh my god!
Yeah.
Ah! No, I was kidding.
they're all undisciplined. You know, is the main thing.
This is like an
'Cause
amateur night kind of stuff. You know, like I get it.
Basically, and I think the biggest reveal is when Bob is finally on the phone. And he's telling the guy, he's yelling at the guy. He's like, "Oh, you're in my space." And he's like, "What are you talking? We're not even in the same freaking room." And he calls him a stupid liberal. And then finally his freaking homie gets on the phone, is like, "Hold on, this guy's good, dude." And then he's like, he just starts cussing the guy out. It just really showed that they had no principle. So
yeah, it's
he
just
was
funny.
a Karen for sure.
What about Lockjaw at the end?
Yeah, at the very end, Lockjaw gets everything that he thought he wanted.
Dude, I did not think he was gonna look. I was like, whoa.
He survived the shotgun to the face, apparently.
that's crazy.
Dude, it looks pretty bad. He's got like half his lip missing. He's blind in one eye.
What I think is wild is that nobody tried to kill him while he was recovering, because like his skin is all healed, like it's scarred or whatever. But
Nabil, they have to have the movie. It's for the movie.
They had to wait until
the movie now.
They saw him.
Yeah, when you think about it, it's probably cleaner this way, right? They could just invite him in.
Yeah,
He's
they
just
bring him
gonna
to
come
their
here
place.
willingly.
Yep, exactly.
Yeah,
I
that's
kept
way
thinking he was
easier.
gonna get sniped. By the way, I was
That's
like,
what I thought, yeah.
I was like waiting because it was so quiet during that scene too. I was like, oh man, something's gonna happen to this guy.
Yeah.
Like, you know, he's not gonna make it out. The guy's, I forgot your key, and I was like, he's dead.
Yeah.
He's dead. Did I think they were gonna gas him though? No, that's pretty wild. So, all right, that wraps up episode 208 of the Movie Pals podcast. And Bill, let everyone know how they can keep up with us.
You can find us on every major podcast platform, so follow and listen wherever you like. For links to all our socials and more, head over to linktr.ee/moviepalspod. That's linktr.ee/moviepalspod. And don't forget to subscribe, because we keep pumping them out one episode after another, so you'll never want to miss an episode.
And hey, check us out on TikTok at moviepalspod for sneak peeks, quick takes, and behind the scenes clips. We've also got brand new Discord community for all you film fans. Share your hot takes, ask questions, and hang out with us and fellow listeners. The invite link is in our Linktree.
And coming up next, episode 209, where we'll be reviewing the Tron trilogy. Which entry do you think holds up the best today? Drop your thoughts in our Discord or TikTok, and we might shout you out on the next episode.
Thank you for hanging out with us. Until next time, this is the Movie Pals signing off.